All right, welcome to this episode of XTV. This is episode 9. Tonight we're going to talk about my trip to New Orleans, Louisiana, and what I learned about the dirty, dirty South. We're going to talk about the Iowa gas tax and the implications of having a new gas tax here in the state of Iowa. We're going to talk about our lying journalists, and I'm talking specifically about the Brian Williams affair and Bill O'Reilly talking about his combat. Combat experience, Bill O'Reilly. And we're also going to delve into one of my favorite subjects and something that we haven't gone fully into this point, the legalization of marijuana, as I like to call it, inevitability. So, from there, we'll get started. Joining us is Nick, and he is joining us from West Liberty. And say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, and yeah, so let me get my fancy graphics up. There we go. Very nice. So tonight I'm going to start with another beer review. This is from the Kelowna Brewing Company in Kelowna, Iowa. If you know anything about Iowa, this is that place where the Mennonites and Amish, southern Johnson County, just a town over from Iowa City. Yeah, they, I don't know. I don't think this is actually made by Amish people, but it might be. So going back to our German roots here, folks. So this is the Double Whammy Imperial Stout. It's 9.1% alcohol. It looks like it has an Iowa football game on the label from the old days. That'd be cool. Yes, it pours like black gold. You're definitely going for the Hawkeye contingency there on that one. We'll pour it into my Peachtree glass. Hey, there he is. How's Alaska?
It's good.
Cool. It's colder than shit here, man. 4 degrees outside. What you got?
It's like 33 here. It's not that bad. It's light out now. We've gained a lot of daylight since we first started doing this.
Holy crap. I can't.
Yeah.
8:37? Wow.
5:37.
I kind of kill for that right now.
That's nice. It's coming back really fast.
Oh, yeah, it has to happen fast because you guys were like in the dark, deep hole there for a while.
Yeah, when we started doing the show, it was dark at like 4:30, and now it's light out until like 6:15.
Damn. That's cool. All right. So, oh, yeah, the beer. You can taste the alcohol, which you would expect. It's not as stouty as I thought it'd be. It's kind of easy drinking. Good aroma. Oh, my Firefox crashed again. I get to restart. I'll be back in a second, fellas. This is Suckville right now. Nope. Show keeps going.
Really?
Yeah, and they can hear me too. They can hear us. It hasn't completely stopped working.
I can see you too. The man is frozen.
Holy crap, that sucked. Are you guys, am I back?
You
I
are.
can hear you.
All right, good. Sorry about that. I need to
I can hear and
close
see
some
you.
tabs or something. I hope that does it. All right, cool. Shit. So, so beer was good. You guys got anything you want to start off with, or should we just get into me talking about New Orleans?
Go for it.
All right, going for it. So, went down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. It was awesome. We drove starting Sunday morning, and we went down to we just drove straight through, man. And we got there at about 12:30 at night on Monday morning or Sunday night, and we immediately hit bars and got drunk that first night and stayed out till 4:30 because you can do that there. It was also nice, like, somebody would be like, let's go to a different bar, and I'd be like, but I'm not done with my drink yet. And then they would always say, dude, it's New Orleans. Take it with you. So yeah, then would take the beer with me. The real problem was when I would have a full beer in my hand and we'd be at the next club already, and I'd be like, "Fuck! I have to drink this quick a minute so I can get into the club to buy another drink." It was great. I saw some great jazz. I saw Rebirth, the Rebirth Jazz Band. I think there might be the brass band. I don't know. They were fantastic. I have ignorance on them, and that sucks because they were fantastic, and everybody apparently knows about it because, yeah, whatever. I saw the Tin Men play. Apparently they're famous too. And they had a washboard guy, Washboard and Bells. They were playing at DBA on Frenchman Street. That was on Wednesday. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Went to several parades. Went to 3 parades. Went to the Zulu and the Orpheus parades. Those are the ones that really stick out in my mind. Zulu is kind of wild to see. It's a mostly black crew. That's what they call the people who put on the parades. And they dress up in blackface and like really offensive looking racist blackface. So that was wild. And then the Orpheus parade was awesome because it was a night parade and they did it Roman style. So they like had flaming torches everywhere, and that was awesome. And there was a big Roman motif, and they actually got some things right on it, and that was fucking sweet. We didn't go to Bourbon Street, so I didn't get to see any titties, which, I mean, kind of seems against all logic. But one good thing about it was is that I went with locals. I went with people who had lived in New Orleans for multiple years, and we stayed away from the tourist traps, and we went to all the cool spots. And I had amazing seafood. I know Warren's going to be upset about my stories about seafood, but man, I had shrimp every night. I had my first oysters. Didn't think I'd like oysters. Loved them. Thought they were great. Had alligator sausage and other kinds of alligator. I tried to eat alligator as much as I can when I'm down there. It was fucking awesome. And what I got out of it is that this is a city that is it's beginning to thrive. It's beginning to really come back since the hurricane, and they couldn't be more pissed about it. The economy is booming, and they just bitch and bitch and bitch. Like, it's not the same. Like, yeah, that's what happens when your city booms. It's not the same. So a lot of the complaints I get is that it's New York and LA money coming in, and it's gentrifying old, traditionally black neighborhoods. Thing is, though, you're kind of replacing black folk with black folk there a lot. So I just think they're getting better housing. It seems like that, and there was just like this weird harmony and balance in that city. I'm sure it's not that way outside of New Orleans or even downtown, but I mean, there definitely seemed to be. It seemed safe. I never felt in danger once, and I was told that that's a relatively new thing for those people. It's been really crimey forever, and so
they have the highest murder rate in the country for a long time.
Yeah, they did, and so kudos to New Orleans. It seems like it's really picking up, and I couldn't be happier for them. They deserve it, man. They had a tough slog there for a while. So yeah, you guys been there before?
I have never been to New Orleans, but I've always wanted to go.
I definitely recommend going, man. Like, it's just an experience. I also recommend not going during Mardi Gras the first time you go. It's just expensive and crazy and really hard to get around. Now, there's other things like they have a jazz festival that comes up in the last week of April, and it's last week of April, the first week of May. And the lineup, I mean, if you just look at New Orleans Jazz Fest lineup, it's a festival grounds, and they do 4 stages go on at once, and it's just like the lineup is insane for it. So, something to look out for. And it's also in a really neat neighborhood. It's in Mid-City, which is a really cool neighborhood. What about you, Nick? Have you checked that out?
I wanted to go in November. It was a National Association of Realtors convention was there. Coincided with my son's 3rd birthday. I had to stay in town.
Yeah, I see that. Damn it.
It's on the list.
You could you could have totally pulled the Cedar Rapids there, being an insurance salesman at an insurance convention, man.
I
You
did
seen that
listen to
movie?
yeah, Cedar Rapids is a great movie, actually.
Fucking hey, man! Like, couldn't believe how good it was.
Iowa Association was up at Cedar Rapids. That was kind of fun. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait
The
to
fact
actually
that they
go on that
portray
public-
people on meth and things—that was great. But no, yeah, I love that movie. That was fun. It's a damn shame they had to film it in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But there you go. All right, so that's my New Orleans story. You guys got questions? Like, you want to talk? You know, I could talk about it forever. I just don't want to eat up a bunch of airtime talking about my vacation.
Just roam around the streets there, basically, day in, day out.
Yeah, yeah, with alcohol in hand, and yeah, it was just fuck, man. It's great.
What was the drive down like?
What was what? Oh, the drive down?
Yeah.
Long, but not impossible. I could have done it myself, but I'm kind of a road warrior. I can kind of just dig in and do my thing. But no, I mean it was hard. And then I was in a rented van with a bunch of smokers, so it was like window down every 5 minutes to have somebody get their Nico fix in, and of course it didn't do a good enough of job of clearing the air, so I had like really bad throat and shit from smoking all that shit. God damn it. But no, the drive was pretty all right. And what's funny is that I didn't see cops unless I was in Memphis. I saw cops all over Memphis, but everywhere else it was cool. But yeah. Oh, I ate at a great rib shack in Memphis. I think it's Doug's. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. But it was on Drivers, Dive-Ins, and Brides. Yeah, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives at the Guy Fieri show on Food Network. And this was a place that really lived up to it, man. Like I had the best ribs I ever had, and I did in Memphis. Yeah, Memphis barbecue. It's pretty sweet. So you get to go through Memphis, you get to go through St. Louis. If you know any good spots in St. Louis, it's kind of a cool drive. It's pretty, like southern Missouri and northern Arkansas are really ugly, but they got enough interesting things on the side of the road to keep you like kind of occupied, like cotton fields, and which I'd never seen before. And we were watching it during the winter burn. Apparently, you burn your cotton field in between, and probably replenishes potassium in the soil or whatever. And so it was cool because we just see miles of ribbon of burning cotton plants. It's kind of cool. And I didn't know you could grow cotton that far north, but you can grow cotton pretty far north, it turns out. So, oh, yeah, 75 degrees in New Orleans. That was another thing. The first day, that was insane. People had their pools up and going, and like the trees were flowering. Like that was kind of fucked up to have to deal with, but it was great.
How was it? How was the return to Iowa?
The return to Iowa, it was shitty, man. Having to go home sucks when you're having like that kind of fun, and yeah, man, like I didn't want to leave, but it's still home. I got back used to it. It took me a couple of days, but it's still home, and I still love it. Still, yeah. But I may move away for a couple of years to someplace warm, like New Orleans. Because I could totally dig that place, man. All right. Boy. We could talk about lying journalists next. So, Brian Williams lied about getting shot at while he was in Iraq covering the war. And he got a lot of shit for it. And rightfully so. You don't go around telling people you took bullets, especially if you're a journalist. There's journalistic ethics. People are going to believe everything that you say because you're supposed to be the kind of person who checks things out for you. And the credibility thing is kind of rough, and I think he should have been suspended, and I'm not sure about losing his job completely. But then also there is flack going out towards Bill O'Reilly now, because Bill O'Reilly says he too was in the combat role as a journalist early in his career at CBS, and all the evidence points to that there's nothing to back that up at all. That he was in Buenos Aires, which was over 1,000 miles from the fighting, and that there were street protests, but they were actually all peaceful, and he violated protocol at the time too by turning on his light on his cameraman's camera, which draws a crowd, and incited them actually to get riled up, and he got great footage out of it, but he actually was putting his cameraman in danger according to the rules that were on the ground at the time. So Bill O'Reilly now has this thing to deal with. Question is, Bill O'Reilly, pundit, no one really takes him seriously for journalistic ethics. Brian Williams, head of one of the big three networks, newscasts. Is there a difference in them lying about it? Does it matter? Is lying about war something that people do anyway? It seems like I've heard a lot of fishy war stories in my life.
Hold on. What's this about Bill O'Reilly? I haven't. Is he saying he was in the military and was in combat, or so he was a journalist?
No, he was a journalist covering the Falkland Islands War, and
okay. Got it.
And he said that he saw combat. So, is this a big deal? Is the question.
Say this? I haven't heard anything about the Bill O'Reilly thing. My question for clarity is, was he talking about the Brian Williams thing, and then he brought up his war story, and since then it's been fact-checked? Or is this something that's come out to sort of defend Brian Williams? Or to say, well, this guy did it too? I'm just asking.
I think it was one of those deals. I think Bill O'Reilly did a segment on how it was unethical for Brian Williams to do it, and then someone remembered reading his books where he recounted the tale, and at the time when the book got released, the people who were with him, the CBS journalists that were with him at the time, were like, well, that's bullshit, that's not how it went down. And then it didn't really say anything, but this comes up when he gives Brian Williams a bunch of shit on his air, and then so it's kind of like turnabout's fair play. I don't think we'd be talking about Bill O'Reilly right now had he not gone after Brian Williams.
Okay, so it was him going after Brian Williams and then getting fact-checked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody was like, well, you have your own bullshit story, buddy. So, is it a big deal? Should we worry about, because the truth comes out anyway, should we really be worried about these quote-unquote journalists anyway? I guess I see the NBC thing more than I see Bill O'Reilly.
Well, just I don't watch television, Vic.
You don't watch television?
No, because you're a journalist. They're not journalists anymore. They're TV personas. They're not real people. They're not real journalists. They just like to... Remember back when we were young, CNN pulled news?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have 4 or 5 different people talking about the story. They just kind of told the story and went to the next one, right?
Yeah.
A line of 4 or 5 different people, and gotta analyze what each other one says at all times. It's a real pain in the ass. So I prefer to read, but that's just because, again, I'm against television in the first place. I like this. This is interactive.
Yeah. We got the Oscars on over here, but we're not watching. Actually, I am now. Who is that? Yeah.
Patricia Arquette.
It kind of looks like Patricia Arquette. Anyways, okay. Journalism.
No, it's not.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So the state of journalism anyway.
Yes, it is.
No, so now her name. Actress in a supporting role for Boyhood. Do either of you guys see Boyhood?
I did not know.
That's the thing. I don't even watch movies anymore. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Internet, you win again. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so I guess what we're saying is that who gives a fuck? And I mean, it's a big deal, but people are being punished for it. I think lying about war is stupid, but I think my own father did it. So what are you gonna do? What about you, Justin? You've been quiet.
Well, I think that it's kind of a big deal that to television people are being outed as being not factual when these are people who, in the mass media sense, hold a lot of sway over the attitudes, opinions of people at large. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons for journalistic integrity is you want to be as completely non-biased as possible, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but not like shit your pants big deal.
Yeah.
Like a television personality turned out to be a liar. Exactly. Jared Leto needs a haircut.
So, but journalism, like, as a, I don't know, as like an art, as a, it's kind of a new thing, this idea of journalistic integrity. It kind of didn't exist until the 1960s, I want to say. Like, it's a new phenomenon, and I'm really happy, though. I mean, this is a good sign, I think, that these guys are being outed and that there's penalties involved, because it does just it may help us get through that. And God, man, I don't know. Now we're losing Jon Stewart. Oh man, where is it all gonna? Where are we gonna get our news, man?
From you. I'm catching up.
What's that?
From you, Vink.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe that is it. Maybe I'm the next hole in the journalism thing. I'd have to do a lot more research than I do. I just have opinions at this point. I should do research. All right, on to the Iowa gas tax. Now, Justin, you brought this subject up. I'd like to hear your take on it.
I don't know. I don't really have a take on it. I just wanted to see what you guys said about it. I just read a couple articles.
Yeah.
And they're like saying they're going to use it for infrastructure spending, I don't know. Well, what do you guys think? Should they raise it up another dime because it's low now or not?
Well, I don't know. I think they're only trying to do it because it's a good time to try and do that.
Yeah, there's definitely some political opportunism going on there.
The gas prices being so low, people buying more of it. I mean, they're looking at like, well, we can add 10 cents to this low price right now. Well, people are happy to buy it.
Oh.
And later when it's more expensive again, it'll just be a tax that's already in place.
Yeah. I am appreciative of the fact there was talk originally of the bill being attached to the price, so being a percentage tax, and I had a big problem with the percentage tax idea. I don't think that I'm happy with it being an excise tax where you buy a gallon of gasoline, you pay a set price for it in taxes. I wouldn't have liked the sliding scale, because then you don't know how much money is going to come in to your coffers. I mean, you still don't, but like it's a lot harder to predict if you're going with the market price of gasoline. As far as infrastructure goes, yeah, as long as the proceeds go to building my roads better, then I don't have a problem with it at all, because I'm going to save that money in repairs, going around a bridge. I won't have to do that anymore. I can go right over it. I will save money in the long run in my mind's eye. And wear and tear on your vehicle, like, I would like some new roads. And that's one thing about New Orleans that was wild too, is that other than their main drags, they do not care about the roads at all. And there are places where there are blocks where you cannot drive a car, and it's crazy, like, that they live like that, and they're not happy about it, but they're probably also never going to raise a tax for it, so they'll probably just stay that way. They were that way before Katrina, I guess. The roads were shitty in New Orleans, so so I'm thankful for the roads I have. I want better ones. I don't mind the 10 cents a gallon if it goes directly into the road fund, which it should.
Actually, it says infrastructure. It doesn't say anything specific of what part of the infrastructure, if it was just for transportation purposes only or not. So it could go to the sewer lines for all I know.
True.
Infrastructure. Maybe broadband for rural people. That's infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
However, if we're paying an extra 10 cents through state, what is the federal to say that they're not going to quit their mandates and lower their prices that they are already giving the state because the state's already making up that funding in the first place? So does the Fed take away what they're getting Iowa and start putting it somewhere else because we already are making enough through this gas tax where they don't need to pay us?
No, they don't do it like that. The road mix is set on what kind of a highway that it is. So the federal government, and they'll give us grants and stuff like that too, but generally what the federal government does is they pay a high percentage of interstates, they pay a much lower percentage of U.S. highways, and they don't pay anything for state or county roads. So the federal government's only giving us money, and it's set per mile, per bridge, along our federally mandated highways. And so yeah, it's not the federal government isn't going to give Iowa less money because we're raising more money. The way I understand federal road funding is that it goes on how much mileage you have. So we don't have a lot.
The I-80 tollway, how's that sound?
Yeah, well, we're not. We also want to avoid an I-80 tollway through Iowa, and I think a great way to do that is to do a gas tax. No one wants to pay a toll in Iowa. That's ridiculous.
Well, as an independent contractor that uses gasoline and premium, I'm kind of against it personally. But that's just
you also get to write that off as a business expense, even your personal use.
Still have to put on the miles.
Yeah. How is the insurance business anyway? How you doing with that, man?
It's picking up.
Realty. Sorry, realty.
Spring is here. Let's call it that.
What's that?
Spring is here, Vic. Spring is here. That's all I can say. I've been beat myself in the foot a few times. You learn along the way. It's an interesting experience that I do not wish upon my worst enemy.
Right on.
Other than that, yeah, it's interesting. You find family for people, though. Did that work out for you?
Commission then? Are you mostly making commission then?
Yeah, that's 100% how it works.
Okay.
I've had 2 closings.
Wow.
Nah, that's not a lot.
No, I know. I'm just like, wow.
Just to break it down quick, let's just call it a $100,000 house at 6%, so that's a $6,000 commission sitting there. Now you got to split that between the other person who's actually listing the house, and I got to split my half with my brokerage. So $1,500 for 80 hours of work. Not. There's a misconception realtors are rich. No, we're not. We're very, very poor people. Some of them, the ones that have been established throughout the city, throughout their years, and this has been their career, it's like climbing every ladder. You start off slow and you go up high. So buy a house, Fink. He's gone.
Where are you a realtor at? Like in what area?
Iowa City, the MLS of Iowa City, so it would be Iowa City and all the surrounding areas in the Iowa City Association's area.
Right on. My friend and I are looking to buy some acreage to start an aronia berry farm.
Where at?
Oh, it's like anywhere like in the metro area, like north of Cedar Rapids to south of Iowa City, like anywhere in between.
And what are you trying to grow?
Aronia berries.
What the hell? Okay, you gotta bring me up to speed on the aronia berry.
The other name for it is the chokeberry, but basically you sell them to like pharmaceutical companies that make extracts out of them.
Okay.
But we're looking for like 15 to 25 acres in like the 150 to 225 range.
What kind of land does this have to be?
It has to be zoned for agriculture, but we have to be able to build, like, we want to live there too. So, like, I was talking to a realtor about a property up in Benton County, and he said that you have to have 22 acres in order to use 1 acre to build a house on. So there's like depending on the zoning.
every county will have its own little quirks.
Right.
Definitely, I don't know how the soil is, but definitely look into Muscatine County. Very little covenants.
Right.
A lot less restricted compared to Johnson and Cedar and Lynn.
Yeah, up in Benton County, it was like if the CSR was above 70, then that was when you had to have over 22 acres in order to build on it.
Yep. Big fact.
Oh my God. That was terrible. I apologize to the viewers at home. One of you. Good job, one.
Talking about land, we're good.
Yeah, no, it's my computer. It's not my computer. It's, I guess, my Firefox. I gotta do that shit or something. I don't know.
You should use Chrome.
Should you maybe start using Chrome? Shit. Well, yeah, we're back. Hey, all right. So, you were talking about selling houses, and I was listening, but I couldn't talk because it was all fuckered. But thank you. That was educational.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
County zoning ordinances will get you every time.
Yes. Yes, I can see where you wouldn't want to hire gas tax, Nick. I get that, but I think we're going to get it. Branstad wants it. The Democrats have wanted it forever. So
we get our
time in my mind. Speaking of the state legislature, Governor Branstad has said that, I think he got shamed into it, that he would want people with, well, we do have an oil, a THC, not THC, a marijuana derivative oil that's available for epileptic patients to help relieve their symptoms. That is now legal in the state of Iowa. The thing is you can't buy it here. And Governor Branstad doesn't want us to put in a system for medical use. So he has instead said, we want to buy it from Illinois. The thing is that the Illinois rule says we can't sell to Iowans. So we're kind of in a catch fuck you on that one.
Just getting it from Colorado.
Why aren't we just getting it from Colorado? Why do we have a prohibition?
The Iowa Senate Republicans just introduced legislation to severely weaken first-time possession weed laws.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Anything to liberalize the laws. Did either of you happen to check out Bill Maher's tirade about marijuana usage?
I did not know.
Yeah, it was kind of all over the internet in the last few days, and he had a real time, and Bill Nye the Science Guy was there, and there was a few other people, but he actually had quite a show. I've seen most of it because just from clips, and I usually don't watch his show because, well, he's a fucking bloviating douchebag. But this one was really good. He talked about how we've evolved as a society where our presidential candidates go from, there's George H.W. Bush, who didn't do it at all. Then you've got Bill Clinton, who tried it once but didn't inhale. That was his story. And then you have Bush Jr., who says, like, I did a lot of things in my past, but don't ask me about them. And then you have Barack Obama, who says, yeah, I smoked that shit, sold it too. So, but I made mistakes in my past. So, so he's still kind of ashamed of it. So Bill Maher says to him directly, you've evolved liberally on, supposedly, on gay marriage, which apparently he was for the entire time, but couldn't say it out loud because he was Barack Obama. And then he evolved on the issue. Why not evolve on this issue? Pardon all of the marijuana drug offenders, and let's get real.
Yeah, why not? Think of all the money that would be saved just instantly.
Yeah.
At state levels.
You have a lot of jobless people, though. That'd be kind of rough.
Is there a movement in the state of Iowa to legalize it? Like, is there a group of people that are trying to get it legalized, or no?
There is a normal that it dies a lot. Like it was originally in Ames for a while, and then it died, and it got resurrected in Des Moines. But as far as a full-on, not really.
Why do you think that is?
Most islands are over the age of 65. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, a bunch of white racist farmers pour a lot of money into our state legislature.
You have gay marriage, though.
Well,
but we didn't do that legislatively. We did that because we wrote an amendment in our state constitution that got interpreted to say we can't do that.
So by the judiciary?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Gay marriage was brought to Iowa by what do they call that? Judicial activism. In every way. I'll admit it. It was judicial activism. I loved it, but it was.
How was it judicial activism?
Because they were essentially writing a new statute for the state of Iowa, saying.
Well, actually, it was derived from a lawsuit, and the decision of the lawsuit rewrote the legislation. Like, somebody sued based on the wording of our state constitution, and the Iowa Supreme Court was like, "Yep, we agree."
Well, yeah, but it also struck down the Iowa State Defensive Marriage
Act. They didn't
Act.
like write new shit. They just interpreted.
But there was also never a licensing program available to gay and lesbian people before that particular law was passed. So we weren't doing it before.
Program.
What I'm saying.
You're talking about like a box on a form.
What I'm saying, they wouldn't allow same-sex marriage to happen before the law was passed either. But the fact that the law got struck down doesn't mean that they necessarily had to start granting licenses right away. But that is what they interpreted their finding to be. They said, well, no, we have to start allowing people to get married.
So is there anything in the Constitution of Iowa that you could use in order to get legal weed then? Like, I know what you mean. The U.S. Constitution is the same way. Like, if you go by the 14th Amendment, like, you can't not let gay people get married. But,
right.
Like, because of the equal protections. But, like, is there any way that you could, like, perturb the Iowa State Constitution to doing that, too, to where it's, like, it's technically, like, you can't have it be illegal because of the way that the Constitution is written?
Yeah, I think you could do, under the protection of property suite of amendments, you could make an argument, and also things like due process, habeas corpus. You could throw a lot at it where marijuana laws, because marijuana laws are able to be put on the books on the federal level because of the interstate commerce part of the Constitution. Because it's assumed that the marijuana is going to go between state lines, so they get to regulate it according to how it's all been interpreted over the years. But as far as within a state, you could make a case that that's my private property and it was seized illegally. You could make a case
that's the way it was back in Alaska. Like, back in 1972, like, there was never any law that specifically said that it was legal, but the Supreme Court of Alaska, because of the way the Constitution's written, there's like, you have an inherent right to privacy in your home, and the Supreme Court basically, the one guy that took it to the Supreme Court got off because he was in his home, and like, that was the judicial precedent that was set for the last 40 years, and just until this last fall, where like they actually did pass a piece of legislation saying that it was like explicitly legal, you know. But it was definitely just judicial precedent for like 40 years. That was based on like a right to privacy that was written into the state constitution.
Yeah. Well, the thing is we're talking about the gay marriage thing, and it's because the state constitution, I think it's Article 2, says that the federal constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it is codified into Iowa law based on that article. So we've codified the U.S. Constitution into the state constitution, and by doing that, the 14th Amendment is what was used in the gay marriage thing, and so so we have all the protections of the federal constitution under our state constitution. So if you're wily enough, maybe we can get this done. Just need the right lawyer to do it. Pick up the case. I'd rather just legislate it. And there has been bills have been put before the Iowa legislature for decriminalization. Again, it was part of like this finding revenue idea, and they're also thinking about legalizing fireworks now for the same idea or the same thing. Which is funny because, as I understand it, we're not doing so badly. We have a budget surplus here in the state of Iowa. This rush for more money is kind of strange to me, but and the fact that we have a Republican-run, at least executive, and one house of the legislature, it's kind of what I wouldn't expect. I don't know how I feel about it.
Why do they want to raise the gas tax? If you have a surplus, why are you raising taxes?
We have a surplus, but I think the perception is that we have a lack of services.
I don't know. I've been all over. I've been to a lot of places, and Iowa's roads are pretty good, like compared to a lot of places.
It's our bridges more than anything, dude.
Yeah.
The country road bridges are almost all shit.
Yes, they are.
What's that?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're falling apart. Like, some farmer's going to die in a tractor accident on one of those bridges. So, yeah, I don't know. We seem to be doing okay. We have a surplus, but I mean, I do think, I don't know.
The bridges? The country bridges?
Yeah. Why is that funny?
Like, they need to work on infrastructure projects. Those country bridges. Of all the fucking things that need paid for in the state of Iowa,
the country bridges are pretty important.
Bridges are like
pretty important.
Why we need a 10-cent increase in the tax?
You think that's funny, but that is the reasoning.
Yeah, we had ours done in West Liberty 6 coming into West Liberty last year. Well, 18 months. That bridge was gone for about a year.
Yeah, that shit's real. It affects people in real ways. You start having to drive 20 miles to drive 5.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is how they're not in that disrepair.
Yeah, they really are.
No, they're not.
They're like 80% of the bridges are not safe for the purposes they're being
for that.
Oh, they just
okay.
Another time.
They exist. The sources exist. Like it's like
80% of the bridges
are inadequate.
Are ready to fail.
No, they're inadequate, and then like 20% are near failure. Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, but bridge repair is not something you just like. That money. Bridge repair would be part of that expenditure package, but it would only be a small percentage of that total infrastructure spending, I guess is what I'm getting at. And it seemed like you were arguing that like the reason they needed to increase it, just that. There's like
bridges are so much more expensive than everything else.
Well, they are expensive, more expensive than laying asphalt for sure, but
that's it.
Yeah, but most counties pay for that shit already, dude.
With help from the state,
I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the country bridges thing isn't as funny as he's making it out to be. But all right.
I think it's funny. Like all you have to do is just drive on one side or the other. Like usually one side is still good. And everybody knows what side it is, so it's all good.
This is gonna be mirrored.
It will be mirrored. Well, actually, what we sew isn't going to be mirrored. No. You should write it the right way.
I should write it the right way.
You should write it the right way. Oh, man. Use a fresh piece of paper that you... It's not even yours.
Oh, my God, dude. Really? Oh, my God. My notebook page.
No, it's not what I was saying, but that's fine. Whatever. What you got going on there? I was expecting people from my work to be watching. I was expecting a bunch of people to be watching the show tonight. I do have one viewer. That's kind of cool. Oh, hey, that's the guy who's watching. Hi, Brian. Woo! Welcome to Xtv, your sex alternative. You could be getting laid tonight, but you're watching XTV instead.
Comes later.
What? Oh, this notebook's ancient. Yeah. Shit! So, I'm kind of out of topics. You guys want to talk about anything else?
22 Coptic Christians beheaded by ISIS.
That's a big deal.
Or was it 22? Maybe it was more than that. Possibly less.
I have a problem with that. Coptic Christians are cool, man. Aren't they Gnostic?
Just, I think it's Gnostic.
I thought they like had trouble with the divinity of Christ still. I thought they were like one of those sects that was like still struggling with that one.
I also saw a story where they apparently got a little too close to some stationed U.S. soldiers.
Oh, yeah?
There was an engagement. But
Yeah. ISIS.
don't know much more than that.
Listen to some people, and it's a really, really, really big deal. If you listen to other people, it's just another terrorist group that happens to have some land.
And like 30,000 soldiers.
And, yeah, well, it's funny, too, is that...
that number we had last time, the 200,000?
Yeah.
That's what
that's what they're saying?
the Kurds are saying.
No.
And then, but CIA is saying like 30,000.
Still, 30,000 trained fighters is rough. There is talk of a joint Arab Union force, because the Arab Union has been fighting in Somalia for quite some time now, and they have had limited success, but success just the same. They know how to work with each other, and so there's talk of that happening, which would be great. I'd love to see united Middle East on this. That'd be one of the great things is that they just stop fucking with each other and focus on the true enemy, which is Islamic extremism. Well, extremism in general. Religious extremism.
Okay.
Anybody got the magic bullet for ISIS? Share it with the world.
Wow.
We should sell them homes. Maybe that'll do it. You know? I don't know.
Sell them homes.
Sell them homes. Move them into New Orleans. Gentrify yet another part of it. Piss off the locals. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes away.
I know. This is kind of a shitty episode so far, man. The Oscars are on. That's kind of cool.
Is this cinematography doing it?
Oh yeah, award for best cinematography is coming up. Who's the chick? She's kind of fly.
Let's see. Nominees.
Birdman.
Or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
Grand Budapest Hotel. I could see that one winning.
Ida. That movie's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. What the fuck is Mr. Turner? Unbroken?
It better be Ida. I'll just say that right now.
It won't be. It'll be Grand Budapest Hotel.
No, it'll be the last one. One minute. What was it?
Give me the little bottom thing. Tell me who you are, cinematography guy.
Grand Budapest.
Ha.
Hi, puppy.
Well, if anybody wants to adopt a puppy, by the way, I have a great one. The owner of it is in New Orleans, but she's willing to drive the puppy up if it has a new home. It's a small pit bull.
Nope. It was Birdman.
It was Birdman. Huh. Birdman won cinematography.
Wow.
But it's the cutest little thing. His name is Mingus because he's got a sex drive like Charles Mingus. And
blows like Charles Mingus.
Oh, maybe he does. I don't know.
Charles Mingus.
I don't know what he play. Anybody know what Charles Mingus played? What?
Why is she getting rid of it?
She has elderly cats. Yeah, you know, she has elderly cats that are just not digging the dog, and she rescued it from a ASPCA shelter where they euthanize, and the dog was up for euthanization, whatever, euthanasia, and so she's fostering the dog until she can find it a home, or they can find it a home. But that's nice about fostering a dog in that thing is that they pay for all of its vet bills and everything. So like it's kind of a cool gig. She gets to have a dog for a little while, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So if anybody wants a dog, what's that?
You don't want a dog?
I want a dog. I just can't have one in this apartment, and I just re-signed my lease, so I'm not getting a dog.
Yeah, same here. No pets.
Yeah, bummer. Shitty.
The kids would love a new pup.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get like a fish tank or something.
Fish tanks are harder to take care of than dogs.
They are. There's a lot more responsibility.
It really is. Like I for a little while I just for shits and giggles I toyed around with like looking at like marine reef aquariums just because I think they're super cool, and it's a lot of work to take care of the biochemistry of the tank.
Yeah, salt water is especially difficult to deal with. The freshwater fish are a little bit easier, but yeah, salt water is almost. I mean, you gotta be up on that, checking it every day. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with with spoiled tank.
Yeah.
And you gotta clean them all the time because they get because it's salinated water. They get ice cakes or salt cakes on them. Like they're a real pain in the ass. But I had freshwater fish for truck. What was that? We didn't hear you on the last part there, Justin.
They're really cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, I love them, but I just can't afford it right now, nor have the time really to do it. Yeah, maybe someday. Who knows? So yeah. Say something, Justin. Something, Justin. All right. Well, shit. I don't really see the point of trudging on at this point.
We covered everything.
We did everything we wanted to cover. Well, let's come up with more topics next time. Maybe we'll spend some more time on it. But yeah.
What was some of the other things in that list of stuff you sent, Justin?
Or Justin sent it to us.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I'm asking.
I don't know. I'll check it out.
It's right in front of us.
Yeah. Well, he didn't bring them up. Let's see.
Justin. What were some of the other topics in that email that you sent?
Tits versus ass.
Yeah, tits versus ass. Both.
Yeah,
yes, please.
A standard
human being.
Yes, please. You know, ass more. I gotta admit, I love a nice set of titties. I do, but man. All right, Chicago, Rahm Emanuel and the mob and machine politics. That's a good one.
He's running for re-election, and it looks like he's going to win. but there's his Democratic, like his primary opponent seems like he's running pretty strong, but Rahm Emanuel has like 9 times more money than he does, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are right next door. I didn't know if there was any like buzz about that. Sometimes Chicago politics will play in Iowa, but I just read an article on it. I didn't think he would get reelected, but he must be juiced in there or something, because I think it's kind of hard to become mayor of Chicago. Like you gotta be in that circuit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did run an outsider's campaign, which is funny to think about. But he did have all the backing of the Clinton or the Obama machine. With him, welcome to the machine. He's just a well-known guy now, you know, and I think incumbency will help him a lot. And he hasn't pissed anybody completely off. The city's running okay. It's not running great, but, I mean, it's Chicago. Basically, you have to bribe someone to get a clean street. And
that's what I'm saying. There's been, like, how many, like, thousands of shootings?
Oh, yeah, the crime's been terrible.
Astronomical amount of shootings.
Well, they blame it a lot of that on Detroit, though. Like, Chicago kind of inherited Detroit. And so they think that the crime rate is spiked because of that. You know, you just have a lot of people who are down on their luck who are filling into the worst neighborhoods in Chicago, and they are causing a problem. And it's only certain parts, man. There are other parts of that city that are just booming, thriving, no crime at all. I don't know. Chicago's a weird place, man. Great. It's as interesting as New Orleans, you know, just a lot bigger. Let's see. Well, shit. Let's go on that list. Do we think? So, are we talking? Is this going to be a Bush match for the presidency?
Probably.
Okay, House introduces bill. We didn't talk about the House introducing the bill to decriminalize weed.
They did. Yeah, it was a couple of...
chance.
Yeah, probably about as much chance as in Iowa.
Yeah. Nationally, yeah. I think if Iowa turns, the country will turn. Let's see. Communist Manifesto in the Postmodern Era. What were you thinking on that one? That's a good one.
Well, I just for shits and giggles reread it like 2 days ago with a totally open mind, you know, like almost even like just trying to see if it like absolutely made sense. You know what I mean? Like totally open mind. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is like completely accurate, and like this is what we should do. And it kind of seemed like my initial instinctive impression from it was that it made a lot of sense in 1840, but that now it's like a different world now. And a lot of the reasons why it's a different world is because of the Communist Manifesto and like because of progressive changes over the centuries. But
yeah, I mean,
like now that like factory workers are making like $20 an hour and they have like decent houses, it's like it's just a different world now, I think.
Yeah. I think it may have just created another strata, though. You know, where now you got your factory workers, which are your lower middle class, and then you've got like the people below them and the people below them. It might have just created another layer. You know, like maybe that's just me being cynical, but like it's kind of, it seems like, like.
I also saw some like there's some of like a few like contradictions in it where he's just like being really vague about stuff. Like on the one hand, he's saying that like you're going to be able to keep your personal possessions and like your artisan craftsmanship and stuff, but then on the other hand, he's like saying, like he specifically uses like the phrase like taking out the middle class and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like just reading it with a totally open mind, like it just kind of seems like maybe there's some good ideas there, but I do think though another impression that I got from it was that like in today's society, if there was sort of like a proletariat, it would be those people. It would be ununionized service industry workers. Like, because those people really are making less than a living wage. Like here in Alaska, I think a living wage is at least $12 an hour, if not 14. And you have like the vast majority of service workers are making like 8 to 10. You know.
Yeah.
So I do think that like if there was a proletariat, it would be service workers. But I think there's like the people that are below those service workers are people that are working less than that, but they're living on a lot of government hookups. So like I don't know, that didn't exist at the time that the manifesto came out. You know.
True. You know, and a lot, like you said, a lot of that does have its roots in the manifesto itself, though. Like,
yeah,
I think it became this realization that governments and people had to, if they wanted to stay, if they wanted a middle class to exist, they didn't want class warfare, they didn't want this proletariat to rise up, they were going to have to do something about it. And that was what the progressive era was, the first part of it. And then, you know, you had your 20s where it kind of went backwards for a ways, and then you have the Great Depression, and then you see it go the other direction where now, like, all the way through the 70s, you saw it, like, build up, get too extreme on a certain level with the government, and then since then shrink back down, but now you're starting to see a disaffected underclass again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That ate up the time. Any last words?
Last words?
Last words. Give me a last word, man.
Oh, Cyclones, obviously.
Ha! Guys looking good, man. I can't wait to see you in the tournament.
Hope Fran keeps his job. I like him.
Oh, Fran will keep around. We'll keep Fran. We know losing basketball now, so give us 20 wins, we're okay. We'll do the Dr. Tom fucking formula.
To get to 20.
Justin, any last words? Either Justin?
No.
All right. Well, until the next episode, we bid you all adieu. And oh yeah, I'm starting a thing where I want to change the name of Iowa to Bacon, and that way I would live in Bacon City, Bacon, because bacon is amazing. And on that, I will let you go. Good night, everybody.